welcome to A Spoonful of Jess. My name is Jess, Jess is me, and welcome to my first book vlog, more importantly. So I started getting into reading May last year. I obviously have read before and read quite a lot, but I think last year I just got really deeply into it. I had a full-on love affair romance with reading, and I've just kind of carried on. I was on holiday and I took beach read Emily Henry, which I absolutely loved, and I think that kind of spurred me to read more. I'm a commuter, I work in London, I go into the office 3 days a week, and I get quite a lot of travel anxiety. So I think I wanted to, well, I tried audiobooks, I tried listening to music, podcasts. None of those took my anxiety to a low level. And I felt like I couldn't really concentrate and all these sorts of things. And I basically was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a book with me. Having read Beach Read, that literally changed everything. It took my mind off traveling, it took my mind off everything. And I forgot how much I love getting involved in a story and getting deep and kind of having that urge to, oh, I'm just going to read a little bit now. I just forgot how much I loved that. I have a very creative mind in general. So falling into a world, getting myself really connected with that and falling in love with characters, connecting with characters, feeling all those emotions while reading, I forgot how much I love that. So yeah, I fell back in love with reading in May last year. So this is my first book vlog, as I mentioned before. I thought for the first one, I'd do a roundup of my 2024 books, my top 3 and my bottom 3. So 2024, I read 14 books and 5,769 pages. Probably not a lot to some people, but it was a lot for me, considering the year before I think I read 2 books. So without further ado, let's get into it. Book number 1, this is not in any order, by the way, this is just my top 3. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So she's also under Victoria Schwab, and we've got a book in our library by her. I didn't actually realise they were the same person until my husband pointed it out. I found this book recommended to me on Goodreads, and I read the blurb and I was like, oh, that sounds like a bit of me. This is about a woman who does a deal with a dark ghost fate who lives in the shadows of the night, to live forever but be remembered by nobody. And the book spans across 300 years of her life, so a lot of periods of history, and essentially how she copes with that deal, making that deal, what that means for her. And she eventually meets a guy who, so obviously she's remembered by nobody, but she meets a guy who remembers her when she has never been remembered ever in her whole 300 years so far of living this life. I absolutely loved it. It was a roller coaster. It was, I really loved her, and I really loved the character that she met who remembered her and how their relationship worked. It's soft fantasy. So, sorry, my dog's just up and down on the bed the whole time. It's soft fantasy, I would say. So if you're someone who not sure if they like fantasy and wants to dip their toe in, this is a good option. I think for me, fantasy is not something I've necessarily delved into before. It's not something I would willingly delve into. And in fact, when I was looking for this book in Waterstones, I was looking in the fiction section. And then one of my friends said that Victoria Schwab does a lot of fantasy stuff, so you'll probably find it in that section, which I did. So I think it's a good option if you don't want to kind of go head first into fantasy and want to dip your toe in. This is great. It is quite long, but I flew through it personally. So that was a real good one for me. Sorry for the writing, by the way. It's meant to be this lovely gold shiny, but it was in and out of my bag so much. I think the gold has rubbed off, so that's a shame. But yes, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, V.E. Schwab, absolute winner for me. The second of my top 3 is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, I know that is probably a really well-known, obvious one. I feel like it became really popular. I'm not quite sure how, I guess social media, book talk, that kind of thing, but oh my goodness. So I'd never read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book in my life. That was the first. What a beginner to an incredible writer. I absolutely love her stuff. Having read that, it sent me on a spiral of reading, so like, I think pretty much all of her books. I think I've got a couple more of the earlier books to go. But she's so brilliant at writing people. And what I really like about her is that the people that she writes about, there's so many dimensions to them. They're so complicated. They're not quite right. There's always something, and it's so relatable in life. It's so messy, and I really love that. I'm a real like sucker for messy people and how they function, and I just thought it was great. So The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo particularly, just epic story. It felt like a Forrest Gump kind of vibe, where you just go through this incredible story that takes you in directions you didn't even realise were going to go. I just loved it. I laughed, I cried. It's essentially Evelyn Hugo. She is a Hollywood actress fictional obviously, who decides that she wants to write a memoir of her life and how her life kind of went. And she picks a specific girl called Monique to do it. And as the story unfolds, you kind of realise you find out there is some form of a connection between them. You don't know what or how. And it's just, oh God, it was just fantastic. No notes, 5 stars. Brilliant. Just loved it. Yeah, loved everything about it. And it spurred me to read Daisy and the Six, which was also great. I mean, I could literally do a Taylor Jenkins Reid vlog. I won't for the moment, but Atmosphere is her next one. It's coming out, I believe, in June or July. And to be honest, I'm going to read that, and I might feel compelled to do a Taylor Jenkins Reid vlog at a later date. I'm literally her biggest fan. So, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend. I don't actually have the copy, I should have said that, because my cousin has borrowed it, so I'll put a little picture here, which should be there already, to be fair. But yeah, incredible. 5 stars, all of it, all of it. Last of my top 3 is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Holly Jackson. Now, this is a proof copy. My husband works in the book industry, so this was given to us a very long time ago. So apologies, it's not the actual book. But again, I feel like I'm probably late to the party on this, but I absolutely loved it. I know there's a series out at the moment, so I feel like if you've watched the series, get back into this book, especially if you enjoyed the series. If you thought the series was rubbish, probably don't read the book. I don't know. Having said that, series are not always good adaptations of books, so maybe give it a read. Hey, listen, I feel like I'm a fencer to here. Don't read it, don't read it. But I loved this. I thought it was really great. It's a young adult fiction. I don't normally choose young adult. I have been told before that actually a lot of incredible books are for young adults. And this absolutely is a good advert for that. And I will look for more young adult books because this was great. It kind of baffles me that it is a young adult book because this is so good. It was exciting. I really liked that it was written from the perspective of her doing a case study. So the main character doing a case study of a murder in her village. So there were chapters that were interview extracts. There were chapters that had little maps of the town and like how it kind of fits with the timeline of the murder, which I really love. I really like it when a book comes with a map and things that you can kind of reference to when people are talking. So yeah, this was great. They had like sections where text exchanges were happened and it was written out as the text exchange would be written out. It was just great. I absolutely loved it. And if you are someone who is into your kind of soft crime, I'm not great with violence and bits and pieces, so it's not, you know, I don't always go for hefty crime, but this was brilliant. So A Good Girl's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Holly Jackson, absolutely brilliant, 5 stars, brilliant. Okay, so we've done my top 3 for last year, 2024. Now let's do the bottom 3. So my first, no particular order, remember, my first book for my bottom 3 is The Time Traveller's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. I can never say it properly. I did not finish this. So I don't have it. It was lent to me by my cousin, and I obviously have given it back to her. It's an old one, right? I feel like most people will know of it or have read it. I believe there was a film. There was a musical last year, which I went to go and see. So I get the premise of it. And it did prompt me to read it because everybody talks about it. But I couldn't get away from the fact that the age gap in certain times felt very odd. So if you don't know what it's about, this guy is a time traveller, and he and his wife are married, obviously, because marriage. But the book, as far as I know, up until I read, spans across them meeting at different time frames in their life. So the first section that I read, there was a lot of him meeting her when she was kind of 12 to 16. And I think I couldn't get past the fact that he was meeting her as a kid when they were married, and some of the things that he was saying about her, but she was 6 at the time, just felt a bit off. And I know that's not what the book's about, and it's about an epic love story, and my cousin loves it, and she kind of said, oh no, it's not what it's about, and all of that. I couldn't get past it, and I tried really hard. I think I read 5 or 6 chapters, and I just was like, I can't get into it. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get past it. I couldn't connect to it. So unfortunately, I didn't finish it, which I try really hard to read through books. I don't like not finishing something. So if I don't finish it, I know I really, really did not enjoy it. So there you go. It was a did not finish for me. Some people love it. I'm sorry if you do love it. And, or rather, I'm sorry to you that I didn't like it. I'm not sorry that you love it. Although, you know, not for me. Not for me. The second on my bottom list is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, Gabrielle Zevin. So I did not enjoy this. I read it all the way through. I finished it. It was epic. And it felt like it finished 3 or 4 times before it actually finished. So it's about 2 friends who create a video game together, and the book covers from the creation of the video game all the way through their lives of how the video game develops and all these sorts of things, and it goes through and through and through until they're adults. So they started at university, I think, and they've known each other for quite a long time before that anyway. And it's more about the characters and their lives and how they intertwine with each other throughout the book, with the game kind of tying them to each other. I think I struggled because I wasn't a fan of the 2 characters that it centred around. Kind of weren't very good people for various different reasons. And I really want to root for someone when I'm reading a book. I really want to. If I don't like the person, or the character, should I say, I struggle, because if I can't find someone that I like, or someone that I really want, even if it's someone who's really horrendous at the beginning and then they do, you know, like the 180 flip and become a better person and learn from their experience and all this sort of stuff, that's where I really thrive in my enjoyment of reading, because I'm like, a journey, love it. But this felt just, I don't really feel like anyone learned anything from it. So I just felt like this kind of could have ended a lot earlier, and the characters didn't hit my heart. So it's a controversial, because I've met a lot of people who absolutely loved this, but it just didn't float my boat. So soz to everybody who loved it. But for me, it was a no. My last bottom 3 is Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kuang. I really, really wanted to like this. and it started really good. And I think it, to be honest, actually, I say it's in my bottom. It was only really the last section of the book that I was like, you've lost me. And also, as I said previously, for I think it was Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow, I did not like this main character, not at all. And I do think that's the point. However, at the end of the book, she did not learn anything and she carried on the way that she is. So for context, this is about a woman who steals her friend's manuscript and publishes it as her own. And that creates huge issues for so many different reasons. I don't want to give it away too much because I'm sure from the cover and the title you can kind of guess, but I think if I say too much it is going to give away and I don't want to. But essentially she steals this manuscript, she puts it as her own, and the book covers how it kind of unfolds, that people start to realise she can't possibly have written this book. It starts really, really good and I was really hooked, and it just towards the end I just felt a bit like, oh, we've gone a bit wild on this. And then at the very end I just was really unsatisfied with how the character ended up, where she ended up, what happened to her at the end, and I did not like her at the end. And I felt like there were options all the way through where she could have done a little twist, and it just didn't happen for me. It is in my bottom, but I think because I was disappointed at how much I enjoyed it up until the last section. So unfortunately, this is in my bottom. Concept was great, but just, yeah, the end didn't do it for me. So that is my roundup of my top 3, bottom 3 of 2024. In terms of other book vlogs that I'll be bringing to the channel, most of them will be at least once a month, if not twice. I will give you a roundup of all the books I'm reading. I am part of a book club called Chapter 25, which I will talk more about in a different vlog, but that obviously will bring me out of my comfort zone on books that I'm reading, which I'm really looking forward to because I've started it already and I've read a few things that I would never pick up off the shelf. So I'll take you along for that ride. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to see more of this, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I will bring you all things books. I also do vlogs covering my health and my journey with my various health conditions, and travel as well. And just a bit of life. Everyone loves a bit of life. I hope I've inspired you to have a look at the books. I would say for the top bottom 3, do have a read. Like, my opinion is my opinion, but have a read, because, you know, you might come back and say, Jess, what are you talking about? That was wicked. Fight me. No, I'm joking. Don't do that. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to have a discussion about it. I love having a good old chin wag about people's opinions on books, particularly if you've read the bottom 3. You know, for me, they weren't the ones, but I would love to hear from people who they are the ones for and your reasons for, because hey, listen, open up the comments. Let's have a discussion about it. Thanks so much, guys. I will see you in another one. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for your time.